Hello, America, and to our friends around the world, greetings and welcome back. In light of the events over the last few weeks, I thought it was worth mentioning because one thing that I've noticed and when I came back online was what judges that aren't lawyers or haven't passed the bar or whatever. So I'm going to put this right out there for everybody to know. This isn't new. This has been going on for close to a decade or more. I became aware of it 8 years ago through a YouTube channel, TheLiquidTheory, by a man out of, I believe, Arizona named Dan, who put together this video about judge school in Nevada. And I'm going to show you what this represents.
www.judges.org, the National Judicial College. Here's a course for judges. Are you a judge without formal law school training? Yep, that's right. That's exactly what I said. Are you a judge without formal law school training?
Are you a judge without formal law school training? It's right there on the screen. Yes, I know, June 5, 2017. And if you look at the bottom corner, I tried to incorporate the timestamp of when Dan recorded this, which I believe it said August 8, 2018. Their website is still up. Yes, it's been updated since then, but it still covers a lot of the same information. I didn't spend a lot of time going through it, but it still exists. Is this only Nevada? I doubt it. The reason I doubt it is because both Oregon and Washington have or are in the process of removing bar exams from law school graduates' requirements to practice law. In other states, I have no doubt, have either instituted something or or going to, and I doubt this is just isolated to Nevada, period. Over the last 8 years, I have no doubt that this is a larger issue. And I'm going to present additional information to back up my claim. Now, anybody who's dealt with divorce court, family court, knows this if they've dug below the surface. If you've been a courtroom watcher, you learn rapidly that they're not judges. They're just lawyers that are filling in, with a black robe. And if you go to the Social Security Act, where it talks about child support, it clearly says in the text that whoever presides over child support cannot be an actual judge. All right, so I said I have things that will back up my claim that this is more rampant than just Idaho, that it goes deeper, that it is more widespread and it's nationwide. But before I do that, I wanted you to take a look at what's on the screen, that it talks about why should I take this course. I ended up clipping that portion out to be able to get to fit on the screen, but it talks about making appropriate evidentiary rulings, conduct criminal hearings and trials in compliance with constitutional and statutory standards, manage cases involving unrepresented litigants, create an environment of fairness and impartiality in the courtroom. Anybody who's been in divorce and family court knows that that's not true. Lawyers have to do continuing education courses, and those are funded by feminist organizations. And they are the Mom's Always Right classes, or why the husband is a violent abuser. Jeff Morgan, a decade ago, uploaded a 38-minute, I believe it was, video of the Texas prosecutor's office hosting and conducting one of these continuing ed classes where the government official is telling the lawyers, send it to us blank and we will fill it in for you to make certain that the man is investigated. We'll make it up, is what the woman said. Communicate effectively and appropriately in court and with the media. Special courts, courts with limited jurisdiction, such as traffic court, misdemeanor courts, domestic violence court, small claims court. Special courts are also courts serving particular populations, such as tribal courts. During the course, judges will receive a solid foundation in case law management, judicial writing, communication skills, evidence, legal reasoning, and more. Course will help judges gain confidence in knowing that they are properly following legal and procedural requirements in their role as a judge. This should make you very nervous going into a courtroom from here on out. Do you remember this woman? I'm willing to bet you don't. This was a woman who was sentenced in mid-June of this year. She is infamous, now granted, to be able to stand out among the crowded field that is just overwhelming our education system. I would excuse your not knowing who this is. This is Emily Nutley. She was the highest ranked guidance counselor at an all-boys Catholic school in Illinois, where she groomed an underage student and abused him, raped him to be able to get the word said, but you won't find it written that way, or if you do, it's very rare. This is a very old woman. Just look at her. She's crag-faced, and all of the nonsense that comes with aging. And she had to go be a predator. Now, this is the woman who conducted the sentencing. Judge Jenny Branch is the one who gave the light sentence of 3 years with she's prohibited from being within 1,000 feet of any school, required to register as a Tier 3 S offender every 90 days, and 5 years probation. Yeah, that's not much of a sentence, but that's what Jenny Branch, whom you can see on the screen, what she decided was appropriate. Now, what do you notice about this so-called judge? Well, right off the bat, she's a Democrat, and she's fat. And if you watch the video I put up back in May about Emily Nutley, I said, be wary, because Nutley walked into court to change her plea to guilty, because it was a guilty plea of battery, battery, rather than the graping, which she had actually done. She was smiling until she recognized that the cameras were watching her. I mean, come on. It's not the first time a fat lesbian woman has taken advantage of a situation. And whether this judge is that, I mean, she's at least 50% of that. All right, I'm going to attempt to pick up the pace with this because I want to incorporate more of what Dan had to say about the judges.org in Nevada. This is Stephen Corr. You don't know him. He is the sentencing judge who gave Anjela Urumova that sweetheart weekends only sentence after falsely accusing Daniel Pearson of doing bad things, that he lost his freedom, his liberty for over a month. His children lost their father for over a month. His wife lost her husband for over a month. And this fat SOB thought it was okay to take her in the back room and make a deal, most likely. I don't know that for a fact, but come on, look at the guy. You know he's not getting anything with that 5 head. And the only head he's going to get is from, I'll make your sentence worthwhile. And he's out of Butler, Pennsylvania, which is notorious because of the shenanigans they pulled with elections and other violent acts over the last year and a half. So say what you want, but the most danging thing about this man, prior to being a judge, he was on the school board. I'm willing to bet he's got some very dark, deep, dirty secrets in there that he doesn't want coming out. And with a smile such as that, come on. That's a pretty creepy looking face. Anyway, that's Stephen Corr out of Butler, Pennsylvania. And what I'm trying to build up to is these judges are the problem. But we're getting to the next part. Okay, so these are cases that I and others have brought to your attention over the last couple of years. This one is the Arizona case of Melody Johnson with her judge, her sentencing judge, Javier Chon-Lopez. You know dang effing well. Ill and Eagles, I'm willing to bet the guy's not from around here, if you know what I mean. I don't care what else it says about what a great, wonderful human being is. Not when you're letting an attempted life ender go and say, oh, I get it. It's just one of them days. You can go and do it again. You get to talk to him about the divorce, but you need. If you miss counseling, I'm gonna take you in my chambers. If it isn't obvious by now, when you have law schools that are advertising that you don't need law school training to be a judge, and then you have these monsters letting violent individuals commit violent crimes off the hook, is it any wonder that we come to the coup de grace? You don't have any proof or evidence that he's an illegal alien that's sitting on this Arizona Supreme Court or Superior Court? You're right, I don't. I don't care. These are different times. The left just murdered probably one of the most moderate voices on the right, and then right prior to that, this monster pictured in the center is responsible for the actions of the man on the right against the woman on the left. I don't care. Judges are the problem. I don't care if they've been here for 5 generations. I don't care that they donate to this, or they went to were educated here, or whatever. I don't care. I want them arrested. I want them fully investigated publicly. I want them deported at minimum. Preferably, I would like them locked up for life. Because this isn't justice. This is evil. If you haven't seen the video of him going slack at the university, if you haven't seen the video or heard the audio of, him saying, I got that white girl, if you haven't, watched Emily Nutley walk in to court to change her plea with a smile on her face, knowing she just got a good deal, if you aren't paying attention to this, you're the problem just as much as these judges.
What will I learn? During this course, you will learn to make appropriate evidentiary rulings. Appropriate. You can finally make them appropriate with this course. You can conduct criminal hearings and trials in compliance with constitutional and statutory standards. Finally, you can do this in compliance, just in case you weren't before. Maybe you'll really learn how to manage cases involving unrepresented litigants. Very, very important. Create an environment of fairness and impartiality in the courtroom, since apparently you don't know how to do that before because you didn't have any legal training or something like that. That's pretty amazing. Communicate effectively and appropriately in a court and with the media. Sentence offenders while addressing the needs of the community. Determine the applicability of the Fourth Amendment to automobile searches. And this thing just goes on and on.
Well, one thing that doesn't go on and on is the life of Irina Zarutska. And it certainly is a failure of meeting the needs of the community if this, De Carlos Jr. was sentenced 14 times and nothing ever came of it. Just a catch and release nonsense. How is that a service to the community? It puts everybody at risk. And then we find out that this Teresa Stokes was on the take. Oh, no, she wasn't. She was just referring them to their rehab, to her rehab business. Money laundering, being on the take, it doesn't matter. It's dirty business. It is just as dirty, if not more dirty, than judges who invest in prisons and then turn around and sentence people to that jail which they are profiting from.
No wonder they do the things that they do in the traffic courts, in the family courts. These people, some of them aren't even legally trained. They're running off ego and ignorance, and then making decisions against you and in your life.
Over the past month, we've seen political endings. We've seen racist endings. There was school shootings, and and it is the fault of these judges, these incompetent judges. That is who needs to be held responsible. I don't have the actual answer. Do you fight fire with fire? Do you trust the court to hold them accountable? I don't. Show me an example. Show me examples where bad judges get their comeuppance. You know what? Joe Biden pardoned the Cash for Kids judge. That's why I don't believe you can sue them into, that the courts are going to do the right thing. But do you fight fire with fire? I mean, do you let these monsters suffer the consequences that they let your friends, your family, your neighbors, people in the community be victimized? I mean, it's a bit of the Hammurabi's code, a bit of a twist on it, of the eye for an eye, you're losing your hand if you steal. But at this point, I don't have the answers. I just know that judges, or so-called judges, are the problem. And I don't respect them. I don't have any faith in them. And in my opinion, anybody who has faith in a failing human being has already failed. So the Liquid Theory doesn't have the video on his channel any longer. He has shifted towards geology-focused information, but if that is of interest, give him a follow. Thank you for your time.